This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
Obviously, the stakes are very high.
Jeremiah Bean was convicted of 12 counts, including 5 for first-degree murder yesterday. Now he awaits his sentence that will either be the death penalty or life in prison. A look at how the death penalty process works in Nevada tops Channel 2 News at 5 o'clock. Now, if Bean does get the death penalty, it could actually be years before the sentence is actually carried out, as we have seen. Good evening, everyone. I'm Wendy DeMonte.
I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for being with us tonight. As you know, the appeals process can really drag on for decades, right? Paul Nelson joins us live in the newsroom after speaking with the Washoe County District Attorney about this process of death row. Paul.
Kristen, since 1977, more death row inmates have died in prison in Nevada than have actually been executed. And that's mainly because there are upwards of 10 levels of appeals post-conviction. The Washoe County DA says the process is necessary but inefficient. Whether you agree with the death penalty or not, it is the law in Nevada, designated for the very worst murderers.
When we make that decision in Washoe County, it is the very worst type of criminal, and which can be shown by the last two we've done, which is James Bila and Tamir Hamilton.
Nevada's last execution was carried out in 2006 when Darrell Mack died by lethal injection. 153 people have been sentenced to death since 1977, but 43 had their sentences reduced. During that same time, 16 death row inmates have died in prison, compared to 12 that have been executed. Only one of those exhausted his appeals.
There are so many different levels of appellate remedies for people of these convictions that it drags out. And sometimes we end up having to try cases decades after we already convicted the person.
A Nevada legislative audit shows that the appeals process costs about $86,000 more for someone sentenced to death than someone with a lower sentence.
Well, you also often hear these much higher costs that are thrown around for the death penalty. That primarily involves trial costs and pretrial costs.
The audit shows that a death penalty trial costs more than $550,000 because of added time and resources. A non-death penalty trial costs less than $180,000. Hicks says efficiency needs to be improved, and not just because of the time and money involved.
There are victims out there, victims who have lost loved ones, victims whose lives have been completely shattered, completely changed forever because of the actions of that defendant.
Since the Nevada State Prison closed, the state does not have a death chamber, so no one will be put to death in the Silver State until the new one is built in Ely sometime within the next 2 years. Lethal injection is the only method used in Nevada. Covering the big story live in the newsroom, Paul Nelson, Channel 2 News.